Well, hello, my beautiful Librans. Welcome to my channel. This is Baba Jolie here with your career and money reading for the end of October, right through the end of November 2025. I've already cleansed your space and I've meditated on your cards. For those of you who are returning, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all your wonderful likes, shares, and subscribes. I am truly grateful for all your beautiful energy. Just a little reminder though, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one reading, just so you're aware. Also, please be mindful, scammers are about, pretending to be me and lots of other tarot readers. I do not do personal readings and I will never reach out to you personally to offer one. Also, I will never ask you for money, e-gifts, or donations. So if anyone masquerading as me asks for anything at all, please report them or ignore them. It is a scam. Okay? Let's move straight on with your reading. Now, I will be using guide chimes, so please be mindful to turn down your volume if you are someone who is sensitive to sound. So let us start your reading and let us begin. Okay, my beautiful Librans, this is your career and money reading. I'm going to get all of your cards first before I connect to an outcome, but I already felt this sense of being methodical over the next coming weeks. I feel like you're being diligent and moving towards something, and then there's this sense of urgency towards the end of November there. So perhaps you're going to have a deadline, but let's get to your cards and see what is going on there for you. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Librans? So we have the Justice card. Now, what I love about this time period is that Venus has moved into your sign, which means, you know, expansion, opportunity, fairness, equality, reciprocity. Venus loves to expand on opportunities and money, so that's a good sign. And because it is in your sign, of course, this means you're going to feel it the most. So I mean, the Justice card being your starting position energy, it tells me, yes, there is this methodical approach, okay? You're being logical, you are being focused, and of course, you are, you know, being flexible as well, open to adjustments there. But with the Justice energy, you're doing what is right for you in the industry that you're in. And of course, some of you may deal with legal documentation, or there may be some sort of rules, regulations, or policies changing in your industry. There may be some sort of merge with a company, for example, or, you know, if you work for yourself, this could be that you are trialing new things at this time, some sort of soft launch on something there. But we also have the High Priestess and we have the Hierophant. So a lot of you are, you know, learning, expanding, researching, developing at this time. And it's all about habit formation. Looking at the overarching energy there. And I would also say that this is about expanding, exploring ways to expand your reach in your industry. We have the Four Cups, so this can indicate, you know, you're doing a lot right now and you are very accomplished at what you do, but you feel this need for more, okay? You feel maybe perhaps, you know, you're so good at what you do and you've reached a certain plateau that you're feeling uninspired or perhaps a little bit bored with the same old routine, and you may be researching new ways to approach your work or new ways to expand in order to keep things fresh and interesting. I mean, the World card tells me that yes, you are very goal-oriented, very productive over the next coming weeks and months there. We have the Ten of Swords, so I mean, this could literally mean that you're closing one month in order to move towards the next month. And I mean, Ten of Swords is an energy of having a lot on your mind. Swords are all about the mind. I feel like you're very cerebral in the next coming weeks and months, plotting, planning, the blueprint of what it is for your career sector. And I feel, you know, structure is going to work really well for you. You're being self-disciplined as well, so very commendable. I feel like you get a lot done there. But with that Queen of Swords energy, I feel like you have this clarity of purpose. You're intending to align with something, and I feel like, you know, you get it done. Yeah, look at it. right there, Ace of Swords, something you're thinking about. You could either action it, soft launch it, trial it. There's an energy also here of a breakthrough. So I would say some of you, there could be some problem solving going on this month regarding something in your industry. And we got the Hierophant. Your knowledge is the key to your success. And a lot of you could be imparting your wisdom on others as well there. So if you are thinking about taking a vacation, because of course we got the World there, could be that there is an event or maybe a couple of days off there that you have planned, and you need someone to cover you whilst you're away. You could be imparting information or giving instructions to somebody on how to do what you do. I mean, if you work for yourself, that's probably, you taking your work with you, but at the same time trying to factor in some balance there so that you can have a good time and switch off. But I do see a lot of you really thinking, ruminating, what are the next steps here? And a lot of you may even want to expand your reach by upskilling or learning new skills. Because there's so much, energy that's cerebral here. Swords, of course, the mind, but also communication. A lot of you could be learning new skills when it comes to communication. This could be a language. This could be also like new tools to communicate, software programs, maybe even like social media platforms, partnering up there in order to market, network, or promote your business if you work for yourself, for example. But the Hierophant is an indication that you're believing in the next steps on your journey. You're having faith and everything is going to unfold. I would say, for you, the next couple of weeks is about retaining your course, as it were, basically being a little bit more serious about, all the structure that you have to align with. And again, I mean, the Gaia chimes, the vibes don't lie. I really felt this sense of being methodical in your approach, and all your cards are really kind of like maintaining and sustaining. And with that card as your protagonist energy, I feel like you're doing you. You're being more independent in the working environment. You're trying to be more confident there. I mean, you actually have the Queen of Swords, which is to be self-sufficient. It's also a Libra card. So I really feel like you're thinking deeply about how you feel about your working environment, whether there is fairness and reciprocity there. With this card, for some of you, not all of you, but some of you may even have some sort of appraisal or meeting, or maybe even like a head-to-head with a governing body that maybe like HR that would like help you with a problem or help you with something that you're feeling a little bit fed up with there, because that Four of Cups can indicate like you're a little bit fed up with something, or you feel like there's been no opportunities coming your way, and you may be fostering this environment of opening a dialogue to say, hey, I want to level up, I want to move into a hierarchical position. Are there opportunities for me to do that? If not, I'm thinking about moving on, because that Ten of Swords is an energy of you wondering whether you should stay and wait or whether you should go from a position. Now, if you work for yourself, this can be that, you're doing something that you're familiar with, that is up and running, and it's doing its thing, and you're very successful at it, because of course the Four of Cups indicates you've been there, done that, got the tea, and you have had a lot of celebration and a lot of wins, but you've got to a place or a plateau where you feel, what next? Okay, so you may be, bubbling up with ideas on how to expand your reach, or how to, do new things, utilizing the knowledge that you have. So if you know the Four of Cups, there tends to be a person sitting underneath a tree. Normally, they got their arms closed. They're looking at the Three Cups and they're like, okay, well, this is what I got. And, whilst it was fulfilling for a while, now I want to have something more. So this could be in terms of finances. It could be in terms of like the way you utilize your skill set. You may be wanting to nourish more, or feel like you haven't reached your full potential in a certain, skill set that you have right now, and you're reaching for something more. And the universe pops in with some sort of breakthrough. It's the equivalent of an Ace of Cups there, that a hand from a cloud just pops in to give you something that is really rewarding, fulfilling, and you have that Ace of Swords, which means something you've been thinking about for some time is about to pop into your life, give you a breakthrough, but also offer you something that you've been curious about for some time. So I feel there could be a very important meeting or interview or something, maybe even an appointment, depends on what you do for a living, but there are very interesting conversations being had over the next coming weeks regarding your next steps in your chosen field, okay? And there may be some sort of legal documentation connected to that. Now, I just want to address anyone who has come to this reading who is currently out of work and searching for an opportunity. You know, you may be really fed up with the opportunities that are out there right now. You may feel like they're not fulfilling. And, you know, with that Ten of Swords right there, you may be feeling like the working environment and, you know, the job market is very sparse. You may feel that there's a lot of shortage or difficulties there. You may feel like they're not offering what you deserve when it comes to the pay grade. And your starting card is reciprocity. It is fairness. So you're valuing yourself and you're not, you know, taking anything that is less than you truly deserve and desire, which is commendable, but it also means that you wait a little bit longer. Now, of course, that umbrella indicates that you are protected as you wait. I want you to be aware of that. And of course, Ten of Swords can indicate that you feel a little bit worried there, but there is a breakthrough. Ace of Swords is something new coming in. This is about you taking responsibility for your actions, of course. So putting yourself out there, networking, you know, your resume is filtering out there as well. This is an achievement of desire. And the Queen of Swords can indicate that it is a high-ranking position that requires diplomacy, that requires your communication skills. A lot of you, this could be connected to data in some way as well, or there's some sort of structure. I mean, it requires your knowledge because you have a lot of knowledge cards here. With the High Priestess energy, it can indicate that this is a ripple effect or even a stepping stone to something more. It feels like this is a role that you can really make your own. I feel very independent, free energy here. And I mean, I also get this energy for some of you, not all of you, but there could be this kind of like keeping the peace energy there as well, because we have that Justice card. So some of you, if you want to be in environments like negotiators or, you know, communicators or, you know, intermediaries or HR, for example. I mean, I feel there's a lot of opportunity coming in for you over the next coming weeks there, but also it doesn't have to be that. It can be any role or any sort of position you're looking for, because the Queen of Swords indicates that you are someone who is self-sufficient and, you know, you can work on your own in a standalone position as well as a team. There is an integration energy here, but I feel there is this kind of role coming on in here where I feel that this is you being very clever in this role. It just feels like you have so much knowledge and you have the ability to step into this role immediately, and I do see it being offered quite quickly to you there, but you may personally have something that you need to work around first before you take this role. So for example, go for the interview and they're like, oh my gosh, you're amazing, we want to hire you on the spot. Start on Monday, and you're like, actually, I've got some plans on Monday. However, you know, I can start the following week on the Monday. You know, they're really going to see you as an asset, and they're actually going to commend you for valuing your time to state your intention as to when you want to start. Okay, so maybe a little bit of negotiation there, and they're going to go a little bit quiet first to kind of like figure that out, but they will figure that out. Even if you've got like a vacation booked for some of you, I mean, it may not be like that, but please honor your own kind of time and your life plans that you have, because, you know, this popped up, this came out of the blue, this interview, this opportunity, and you're busy living. So they're going to work around you, okay? And you can start when you know, basically can factor it in. So that's something that's coming through there, and I feel like they really respect that. It sets a precedent for how you conduct yourself in this role going forward, okay? Now also, you know, this seems like it's a fair role, looking at the energy, because you got the Temperance card. I mean, there may be some sort of starting position salary, probation period that you'll have to work through, where either the role, you know, the money is just a little bit less than when you actually sign the contract, and then it increases. But I feel it's fair, whatever the like end result is. But I do see this as a stepping stone to more for you. So although you'll be in this role for quite some time, I do see that there are more opportunities ahead, and you will grow and expand either within that role or that sector or that company, or it is the springboard to more later on. Okay, so congratulations. If that's you, I do see you going for an interview there. There may be one person on the interview panel that is, well, I'm seeing late, but also I just feel that this person, I mean, looking at the energy with the Hierophant in the resistance position, this person, you know, they have problems with structure. Okay, and they do not like the interview process. So this person in the interview process, they really give off the vibe that they don't want to be there. Okay, and that's not personal to you. Okay, I feel like they've been roped into the interview process, and you know, whilst they get on with you, and I feel like you'll form a really interesting relationship later on with this person, they initially give the vibe that they don't want to be there. It's not personal. So just see it as, you know, they got their own stuff going on. I feel like they've got lots of other work that they need to be doing, and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't take time out to be interviewing. So I feel it's not normally their remit. So it could be that perhaps, you know, they're just brought in for their opinion of the candidates. But there's something there. So just be mindful of that, okay? So don't let it put you off your stride, because they love you. You're in the room for a reason. They love your resume. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in the room, okay? So just be mindful of that and have confidence, because I really feel that that is the key to your success there. Now, with a lot of love and respect, I'm going to remove myself from that energy. Everybody else, I feel this is an energy of maintaining and sustaining. I mean, of course, on a personal level as well, a lot of you may be dealing with some sort of legal documentation. I mean, you could be connecting to banks and financial foundations at this time, where maybe rules, regulations, and policies are changing. For some of you, you may actually end a banking relationship or a financial relationship there. You may feel like you're not getting the right service. You're fed up with them, because the Four of Cups is like, you know what? We keep having this same issue. What is going on here? So some of you may actually leave, you know, perhaps a financial foundation in order to go to somewhere else. Okay, you may be migrating your money at this time, but also some of you with that Ten of Swords, there is this energy of like clearing down, being organized, clearing down the workload. That's what I'm seeing there. Ten of Swords is like the end of stuff, right? But I would also say some of you may be working the graveyard shift, because it's literally a graveyard on there. And it can be that you're doing extra hours, perhaps coming in early or leaving late in order to get ahead of yourself, because you feel it's the right thing to do so that you can temper the pace. Perhaps you feel like it's going to be a very busy environment. I do see the pace quickening at the end there, but the Ten of Swords is definitely giving me this energy of deadline. Okay, I'm actually hearing a song right now, Final Countdown, very famous song. I only get that part of the song when it's to do with the deadline. So yeah, some of you will be on optimum energy in order to clear down something, whether it's a workload or perhaps it is you kind of being more productive and optimizing workflow and your time, utilizing tools to be more efficient in some way, but you're actively pursuing something at this time, and you're being organized to make sure that you're on course. Okay. Now, of course, the Justice card and the Four of Cups and the Ten of Swords, for some of you, and this is only if you work for a company, you know, I feel there's an energy here where some of you may be fed up with someone's behavior. You know, the Ten of Swords can be that someone has either betrayed you in some way, or someone has been trying to micromanage you, or someone is making it hard for you, singling you out in some way, or putting some extra pressure on you that you feel is either bullying or is just not conducive to a happy working environment. And with the Four of Cups, you know, you are protected, even though, I mean, some of you are going to go to HR or to a governing body to complain about this person. It gets documented. It basically is an energy where, I mean, the World card is in the resistance position. I feel it will be ongoing. I got to be honest with you. Ten of Swords, it means basically this person is going to stop with you at this time, but they're going to transfer this, whatever this is, with them to another person. And eventually they will be dealt with the hierarchical position people, and you know, they will be ousted. So you will hear in the future this person will leave, okay, and not of their own volition. This person is going to be removed, okay, and it actually is a knock-on effect, because you're not the only person who perhaps has complained about this person. However, you know, they're building a case, and there's a process, and it's not going to happen straight away. It's an ongoing process, ongoing investigation here. This person is disruptive and, you know, they are changing the harmony of the working environment there, and they will be dealt with. They're going to be taught a lesson, but the case needs to be built. So conduct yourself in your usual professional way, okay? Go through the usual lines of inquiry when it comes to, you know, complaining or setting a record straight on something. Get all the documentation or the proof and, you know, all of the stuff so that you can help build this case, because it will just help the process move forward quicker. Okay, so I'm going to remove myself from the energy. Now, if you work for yourself and you have people working for you, this could be you building a case on someone who's not pulling their weight, or someone who is very disruptive, or someone who is sabotaging the working environment, okay? Because I feel, you know, you may be legally trying to protect yourself there, because this is a legal card, and of course the Four Cups there is a card of protection with that umbrella. So you may be looking at ways to protect yourself in the working environment against, you know, someone kind of suing you, for example, or perhaps, you know, finding the right way to approach a very disruptive person at this time. It's a delicate situation, I see, but you're protected. You're legally sound is what I see, but always do your due diligence there. I mean, I hate to give that message. I hate that message completely. I hope nobody's going through something like that, but, you know, this is life, and sometimes those things arise, but it's coming up there for a reason. So I'm going to leave that there, but do your due diligence. The process will occur, and, you know, you will successfully find a way to rebalance your working environment. Let's put it that way. Now, for everyone else, this is more of an energy of you sourcing new ideas to be inspired and, you know, move forward towards expansion. You know, when you get the Four of Cups there, especially on a personal level, this can be that, you know, you are dealing with situations where you want to reach for more financially. And it can be that you're looking at where you're at right now, and it's almost like you've banked certain amounts of money, or you are protecting, shielding certain amounts of money there. And, well, I'm being given an energy as well. Some of you, there may be a financial institution where it's coming to the end of its term. So you may actually look at expiry dates regarding some sort of money. You have to move it elsewhere for, you know, better interest rates, or perhaps just that account ran its course. That's coming out there. But I feel a lot of you are trying to find legal structures or ways to protect your finances through generational wealth or trusts, or, you know, ways to legally structure wealth at this time. And you may be feeling a bit fed up because every time you try and research it, it comes to a dead end, and it's really hard to find that information. The Hierophant tells me that a lot of you, if you want to go down that route, it's probably best to get a legal representative or someone who is qualified to give you that information, because you do not want to misstep, okay? There's a lot of legalities, and there's a lot of jargon, and, you know, I would say looking at the energy, getting an independent advisor is very important if that is the sort of path that you're taking right now, okay? Now, Four Cups, I would say in the working environment, this is an energy of you getting to a certain level where everything is kind of like positive, or it's got to a certain level where you're comfortable with it, and, you know, you're just doing it. But there's something on your mind that you want to get round to doing, or you want to expand in some way. So you may be, you know, thinking of new ways to, you know, do something new that complements what you do already. If you work for yourself, this could be a new idea, a new line of something. You know, it could be you replicating what you do already, because the Justice card is a card of duality, especially with the Temperance energy. This could be, you know, two entities that complement each other right now. And it could be that you're thinking about expanding your reach there. If something is working, you may be like, okay, this is working. Why not, you know, copy it or replicate it or do it, but in a different niche or a different sector? So some of you could be thinking of those things right now, or you could be thinking of new money-making ideas that just feel a little bit more expensive, that help you move forward. And I mean, a lot of you, if you're not running your own business, you could be thinking about that at this moment in time, because, you know, Queen of Swords, very savvy, intelligent business owner, someone who conducts themselves in a very professional manner there, you know, someone who's courageous, someone who's been through a lot in the working environment. But I feel like you've learned a lot of lessons, and you're applying those lessons in order to come out on top there. You're very instinctive, very intuitive, and I feel like you're looking to expand your knowledge at this time in order to further your reach. And with the world energy, this can be an ongoing progress that you're going through right now, but also, it's in the resistance position. So I feel, a lot of you are also getting round to doing tasks and responsibilities that you've been meaning to get round to doing but haven't had the time. So you're going to be very structured in order to get that done. And you're going to be really proud of yourself that you got a lot done, because I do see you being very disciplined and structured and productive with your energy. You're very serious over the next coming weeks, but I feel that's because you're working towards something. So it could be that you're working towards the end of like financial sector, end of year accounts, or, the end of like a working kind of period where then you're either taking a rest or a vacation, or you've got some personal stuff that you need to adhere to, and you're like working to make sure that you clear everything down. I mean, I do see that a lot of you have a lot on your mind right now, because swords are all about the mind, but you could also be clearing down debt. This could literally be that you are, making a final payment on something and you're like released. You're like, oh, brilliant. Okay. So I feel freer in that. And you may learn a lesson within that and how to perhaps either replicate it, because you've got a lot of cycle cards here. I mean, cycle cards can also connect to, ongoing payments like direct debits or contracts, rolling contracts. You may be upgrading things at this time. I mean, with so many cards here that are connected to air, I would say this is a period of perhaps looking at new tools, new software, new kind of online programs or something online that helps you build your brand or build your business or your skill set or your knowledge in order to get to where you want to go. Because I feel like you're very voracious for knowledge in order to stay relevant in your industry and, just be someone who's a pro at what you're doing because of the insight that you have there. I mean, we have the Hierophant there. So because it's in the resistance position at first, it will go into the upright, and also you have it again in the upright as an outcome. This tells me that a lot of you have a structure that's tried and tested, something you're doing, but you're kind of contemplating branching out, doing something new, bold and daring that perhaps doesn't fit into a linear kind of pathway or structure, and it's something exciting, something that does complement what you're doing right now, and it's something that will bring in a lot of rewards and success there. But, also we got the World. So some of you may be thinking about structuring your business to work abroad or migrate your business, or perhaps some of you want to be a little bit more nomadic when it comes to your working industry, and you feel like the opportunities have been sparse and they haven't like been coming along there, but you're kind of formulating a plan right now, because a lot of your cards are all about a plan, sticking to a blueprint, but also factoring in some new exciting things there in order to work towards. And I feel like your plan is going to unfold and start to form and come together. And I feel with that Hierophant, you're going to be so proud of yourself that you believed in something that perhaps you felt at some point was impossible, but it always seems impossible until it's done. And you have a lot of action cards here, which means you are taking action on something. I mean, it could be that you are, ending something that you've been working on for a long time, a project, for example, and now it gives you time to focus on other things. But also it could be that you're walking away from something that does not fulfill you at this time. And the universe has been nudging you out of this position for some time. And it can be that, even if you're running your own business and you're like, well, I love my business and I love what I do, but yeah, I've come to a certain position where I feel like I can't move forward and expand on that particular thing. It's running itself. You may be setting something else up there to complement. And a lot of you may be, and this is such a modern term right now, but a lot of you may be thinking of passive income, because we've got those Queen of Swords and the Ace of Swords all to do with the ether. And you've got the High Priestess as well, which is, again, it is a lot of mental activity where you're connecting to the ether. So the ether being the internet as well. It can be that you're trying to get something up online that compounds on itself or makes money when you rest. I mean, that probably would be the dream to most of us, of course, but it's something that you're formulating right now or thinking about or trying to learn about. Like, how do I do this so I can buy back my time? So a lot of you may be thinking about that at this time. But I would say the next couple of weeks, no matter what you do, because it feels like, and don't shoot the messenger when I say this, whatever you do, I feel like there is this mundane aspect to it. Like, okay, I got to do this and I got to do that. And you're in a structure, cycle of repeat, habit or routine. And that's the thing that's going to make you successful, because consistency is, of course, building success. So I would say a lot of you, you're learning new things and you're applying that knowledge to expand your reach or to find new opportunities. Now, of course, the World card is in the resistance position, but it will go into the upright. So that which you feel like you haven't got right now, these are ongoing projects that you're working towards a goal, you will reach that goal. And then you'll have what it is that you desire, because the World card is about fulfillment, it is about completeness, getting everything done, but also it is an energy of success, abundance, and integrating all your skills so that you can optimize whatever it is that you're doing. You're taking accountability, responsibility, and I feel like with the World energy, some of you could literally go viral or have some sort of dealings abroad in some way. This could be like overseas clients. If you run your own business, it could be that you're shipping to overseas clients, or perhaps you're having communications with people from overseas in order to expand your reach. I mean, this is a card of expansion. If you're someone who deals with communication, or you're a performer who communicates how you feel through art, music, writing. There's a lot of writing energy here as well. So this could be that, you are learning to communicate how you feel or communicate through your chosen medium of expression there, and you're reaching a wider audience. There could be an opportunity that suddenly comes out of the blue that requires exactly what you have to offer. And suddenly, people in positions of authority want to offer you more, or they want to nurture you. So, if you're a writer, it could be that you're going to get a publishing deal, for example. Some of you may even be contemplating whatever it is that you do. Doesn't matter whether you work in a warehouse, whether you work in construction, whether you're a caterer, no matter the industry. I feel a lot of you may be thinking, okay, you know what? I'm really good at what I do. And I could be a mentor. I could teach other people, or I could write a course of learning, put it online. Once you write it, it's out there. People could download that. For some of you, you could be writing a book on, what you do or your experience of what it is that you have been doing. And you could actually document it and get it up online, and people will be interested in what you have to say because they're going to follow in a path that perhaps you have followed yourself. But you may be having a unique perspective on it because you do have that Hierophant in the resistance position at first, which means, you see the structure, but also you think outside the box. You do things differently than other people. So you could give a unique perspective on something that helps people avoid missteps or get to a destination quicker than you did because you've done it all. Okay, so I do feel some of you could be contemplating that at this time, especially since we've got that High Priestess that's literally got a book, and it will be a ripple effect, an ongoing process that perhaps will help you, dip in and out of projects in order to, keep some time for yourself, but also more money coming on in. So again, this could be something you're formulating as a plan right now. Not everybody's doing that, of course, but I just see it in people's energy right now. And it could be because the collective are thinking in these pathways. Now, no matter who you are, ongoing work, that a lot of projects come to a completion. A lot of you are going to be like formulating the next strategy there. And I also see on a personal level, a lot of you are thinking about contracts that are coming to an end, like insurance, for example, because there's a lot of legal documentation here, healthcare plans, policies, rules, regulations, visas, passports, a lot of expiry dates you may be focused on, or deadlines at this time. You're going to, really connect and renew is what I see there, but you're going to be very strict with yourself. Strict with your finances, strict with what you connect to, because all of your cards are about connection at this time. So you may be actually downsizing some of the subscriptions that you have, or looking at whether they align with your sense of values, because you have the Hierophant and you have the Temperance card and the Justice card. So this is about like leaning into what you feel is right. There may be some companies that you've been a customer of for quite some time, and you may not like their ethos now. We're in a period where everyone is really looking about where they spend their energy, their time, whether they align. You have a lot of alignment cards here, and you may be looking at certain companies that you feel in some way have lost their way, or do not provide the service that you require, or do not align with what you believe in, or you just feel like it is not something that you want to invest in. So you may be like consciously avoiding, because I'm getting this energy of consciously avoiding something, or maybe someone. Doesn't have to be a brand or a company, it can be someone in the working environment, because you feel it's the right thing to do, because that Queen of Swords is about distance, keeping something or someone at arm's length in order to protect your energy or to align with your truth, and you're doing it peacefully. There's no conflict. It's like, you know what, I can choose. So a lot of you are like looking at that at this time. But also I feel there's an energy here, like the Four Cups, no matter what you do, it can be that, you know, there's a little bit of boredom. Okay, and perhaps some of the things that you have been reaching for have not met your expectations. Do not let this discourage you, because I feel like you're about to have a major breakthrough there as well. But it's because you're changing a mindset here of like, okay, this isn't working, so how can I tweak it, or how can I abandon it for something better? So I feel this is not you kind of like failing because you're letting something go. It's you acknowledging that something has run its course, or you've outgrown it, or you're just disinterested in it. You know, sometimes you hear of the great painters, for example. They are painting something, they're lost in the moment, and then they suddenly step back and they're like, actually, I'm not feeling this anymore. And, you know, you hear about those big painters like Picasso and like Rembrandt and everything. They're like, no. And they just like, that's it. They abandon it. That they're like flinging it out. So some of you could be like tearing up the script or saying, actually, I'm not really interested in this. I'm just going to get back to the drawing board on something. Again, it doesn't mean that, you know, you failed with that. It means that you've consciously made a decision that it's something that you don't want to connect to at this time. It may be something you'll return to, because we got the World there in the resistance position. So you may be like, okay, you've got many things going on. I see that. But there may be one thing that you go, actually, I don't want to deal with this right now. And you put it to the side, and you will come back to it. I feel like you're not abandoning it, or it's not ended, but I feel like a different mindset in a couple of months, you'll return to this and you're like, oh my gosh, actually, this was amazing. And now I can see through a problem solving kind of method how to move forward with it. Okay. So, you know, don't be disappointed in yourself is what I'm saying. If you feel like something of a brick wall has arisen in some project, I feel it's because you need to take a step back, get a bird's eye view. Okay. Now, Temperance card is initially in the resistance position. I would say round about the beginning of November there for you. There may be a little bit of disruption. And what I say with that, there could be some delays in like a chain of command, or an email that you're looking for, or some sort of correspondence, because you have a lot of correspondence, or deliveries, for example. So if your business runs on those aspects, I would say, you know, getting ahead of yourself is really savvy. But also I would say you may need to chase something, go back and forth on something, and that could be frustrating, but you will, you know, win the day. You will make sure you, you know, get it sorted. I see a breakthrough on it, and I definitely see that instinctively you just knew. So if you've got a hunch on something, you're like, I need to check up on that. Definitely do it, because if you don't, then the person who is on the other side of it is just going to coast. They're just going to leave it. So I feel like you may have to chase something. But also there could be a reschedule or change in your usual schedule in the first week of November is what I'm seeing there. Now, this could be due to something globally. So it could be like some sort of like announcement, because there's a lot of cards here about announcements. But it could also be, and what I mean by that, for example, like trade announcements or tariff announcements, for example. But also there could be like a change in your personal schedule as well, and you may need to take a day off that you did not bank on, but it's all fine. I feel like, you know, you catch up with yourself is what I see there. Now, also with the High Priestess is very ruminative. And what I mean by that, if that's even a word, I feel like you're ruminating on the next part of your progress. And I feel this is an energy of you're planning something, you're learning something. There's just a lot of research and development right now for you. And I feel there's also this energy of mindfulness in the working environment. Now, if you work for a company, some of you may be given extra responsibilities to take up a position like a first aider, or someone who is in a chain of command that keeps an eye on mindfulness in the working environment. It could be a mindfulness warden. I'm not sure if they even exist, but it could also be that you're given extra responsibilities like I mean, I'm not really seeing like a fire warden there. I feel more than anything it could be first aid or someone who is tasked with a responsibility that other people are not given. There could be some financial incentive that is offered for that as well. But I'm seeing a lot of appraisal energy. So if you do work for a company, I see this energy of having a review, okay, and communication, which you're told about ongoing procedures in the working environment, and that someone in a position of authority has noticed what you're doing, what you're about, and they're really thrilled with your advancements, and they're going to tell you about up and coming opportunities. And you will have a lot to think about in that meeting there as well. Now, if you work for yourself, because I feel a lot of you, this is something that's ongoing and rewarded later on after the November period. So, even if you work for yourself, this could be you thinking about your money, calculating, because of course, a lot of you have calculation cards right now. You're thinking about, the calculation of money that you've made and what you can portion off in order to reinvest in the business or protect and maybe put it through certain assets, for example, or acquisitions there. But you could also be taking like a larger dividend if that's how you pay yourself, or there could be a larger reward here, but it's something that you're calculating at this moment in time before you finalize it and then, give it to yourself for all of your hard work. So I feel like you're just thinking about the next steps on something. And on a personal level, a lot of you may be thinking about like your finances in general, calculating what you have in order to look at, your bills, your larger payments, your duties, responsibilities to pay everything on time, utilities, all of that sort of thing. And of course, you may be thinking about your 401ks, your pension pots, because the World card is the end of a cycle of something. So it could be that you're thinking about, investing and looking at how much your pension pot or your 401k is doing and whether it's the right policy for you. So a lot of you are really doing some deep dive thinking financially, but also some of you may be retiring in the next couple of months there. Congratulations if that's you. I mean, I feel with that Queen of Swords, there is a bit of a hesitancy, or it's almost like a double-edged sword. I feel there's an energy of like, not sorrow, I feel it's like, yeah, you'll be sad to leave a structure of the working environment because it represents stability and finances. You know where your pay is coming from. But, also you're going to really love your working environment coming to an end so that you can, be your wonderful self and give back to yourself and connect to your life philosophy and be free and, free to roam. That dove, there's just a lot of peace there. You're free to kind of like fly off and be independent. But also the swords is an energy of being clever with your finances, structuring things, calculating a way to make it work. And you're going to make it work. I want you to be aware of that. You're going to make that work. So there's nothing to worry about. And I feel it's your destiny. It's your time. Enjoy it is what I'm seeing there. And I feel time just flies on by. So enjoy the moment. That's a message to everybody. Doesn't mean, it's more important when you're retiring. It just means life in general is important. So enjoy the moment. But also, I mean, some of you could be returning to work after a certain period of time. If you've been on maternity leave, for example, it could be that it's time to return, or you've been on a vacation, or even paternity leave. Some of you may have also been out of work for a while, or even that you have been unwell, for example, and you are now returning to work. And of course, the working environment has changed, but I feel like you adapt and you just find peace at being back and doing what you got to do. And with that Queen of Swords, this is an energy of course, being very intellectual, being logical, rational, making a decision. A lot of you may have to make a decision right now whether you should stay or go, or whether you should develop something, or how to make the next move there. And you're going to find the right answer within yourself. In silence, wisdom is always delivered. Take some time out to really think, journal, and just think about yourself there. If you work for yourself, it's so important to have a healthy cutoff point, okay? Because your work is always going to be on your mind because, of course, you care so much about it, but also you are responsible for it. And, remember, what is meant for you will never pass you by. You're doing a great job, and I do see, an energy of protection here. The economy right now is challenging, but I see you being protected and really, making some very clever cutbacks in certain areas in order to promote growth in other areas. And you're not afraid to admit what's not working for you, but at the same time, you're leaning into what is and also what is enjoyable at this time. And you're going to fly with this. I really feel a lot of positive energy here. When you have the Queen of Swords, this is having clarity of purpose, as I mentioned, but it's also about you being really honest with yourself and saying, okay, it's time to focus more on this, and you're aligned with something that you understand that will bring a lot of success there for you. But I feel right now your success in motion. It feels very much like the structure is being put in place for some of you. If you run your own business, you could be putting the structure in place, ready to launch something, ready to release something, or, reveal something there, because that Ace of Swords is something new. But also I feel, even if you work for a company, this could be that, you're doing something already, as I mentioned, but there could be a new client or a new project or a new way of working that helps have a breakthrough so that you're more efficient in some way. This could be software, could be a tool, could be some sort of vehicle. It could be something that helps you, stay on track or keep up with the pace, because I feel a lot of you are, trying to keep up with the pace. And I do see a lot of you are exhausted there. Definitely fed up with something with that Four of Cups. But what is coming in that's new here is actually something you're going to really love. This is an energy of an idea coming in that will be a breakthrough, help you move forward. And all of your cards are about information. Okay, so some of you could be moving into data or information, but it could be that you're just putting yourself on a course of learning or downloading something that informs you so that you can be a pro and even a mentor at what you do. I mean, some of you may even be joining mentorship programs within your working environment in some way in order to foster the next generation. I mean, this could also work that you are, training someone to do what you do whilst you are away. If you're having a vacation, enjoy that vacation. You're going to have a wonderful time there. But the Hierophant is knowledge, and it is the highest knowledge that knowledge has to offer, really. So this is about you being at the top of your game, knowing your stuff, being a pro, and recognizing that knowledge is the key to your success. You're leaning into, your commitments right now, because that is a commitment card. A lot of you may even network within your community and find sharing knowledge is going to help in some way, especially if you work for yourself. That would be very beneficial. Now, it's not that there are no rewards over the next 6 weeks. I want you to be aware of that because I feel something is ongoing. But I see that you're going to have many breakthroughs, and talk of rewards for the future are very prevalent in the next coming weeks. So whether that's through a review period with yourself, with your own company, or whether that is a review period with a company that you work for, I feel this is you mapping progress right now, looking at how far you've come, actively pursuing opportunities to advance or be promoted. I mean, the Ten of Swords indicates something is coming to an end or is changing drastically in the working environment, but the Queen of Swords is very independent. So a lot of you could be independent workers, or you could be becoming your own boss or setting something up on the side that is independent, that complements. You could also be offered an opportunity to work more independently in a certain sector, as it were, that helps you advance to the next level in some way. But I feel that a lot of you are structuring, calculating. I mean, we got a writer energy here. Yes, that came through in your reading. You could have got any card in this deck, okay? I mean, because you have so many mentor cards, it doesn't matter what you do. You're just a pro at it. You already naturally are gifted at it. You have a knack for what you do. But also, there's other people out there who want to do what you do. And there could be an opportunity for you to either get on social media platforms or write about what it is that you do and help others. And it will just be another string to your bow is what I'm seeing there. So I'm just going to get some final cards. You definitely got the Rebel card. I mean, as I said, there's a structure that works, a tried and tested path that you've been on, but also you're thinking about something new, bold, and daring. Something that is out of structure, something that is out of the norm, and it's not really linear to how things kind of work. That's going to be your breakthrough moment, thinking outside that box. So we have, wow, we've even got a typewriter there. So I'm whoever I'm picking up on right now, I would say, you know, documenting something very important, but also, you know, maybe writing it down and having a course of learning, or, you know, training people. Some of you are literally stepping into a mentorship. You could become a consultant for whatever it is that you do. And, you know, maybe that gives you more independence to have some extra finances there. So maybe these are just things that are swirling around in your mind right now, thinking, I could do that, you know. But we've got the card of beware. Now, foxes are so clever, okay? So this means that you are cautious in the working environment, not paranoid, but cautious. But there could be a person, as I mentioned, who causes a little bit of disruption there. But I would say if you're creating anything, always trademark it, copyright it, patent it if you're inventing something, because you have the ideas energy here. But it says here, be prudent. Things are not what they seem. Be careful who you talk to regarding your money or your business, because they can try and snatch up your ideas, okay? Don't make any type of financial commitments right now. It's interesting because we didn't get any pentacle cards, so that could have happened for a reason. It can be that you are just being structured and calculating your finances right now and working out how best to utilize those. So doesn't mean you shouldn't purchase. Do what you got to do. Be instinctive, because you are with that high priestess. There's a lot of intuition around you. But this is an energy of, like, if you're being micromanaged, it means, you know, the person, they see you as a threat in the working environment. So they are trying to give you extra work or make you feel a little bit tense, because they know that you're capable of doing what you do, but also what they do combined. Okay, so when you see things from a different angle and realize that people push buttons only because they see you as a threat, or they see you as someone who is more capable than them, and they are jealous or envious of your position or your potential to be in the position they're in or move forward above them, because I see a lot of you are like going beyond there, you know, then they kind of like try to derail you, distract you, or, you know, push your buttons so that you give a reaction. But looking at the Queen of Swords, you are not having any sort of knee-jerk reactions there. You're very measured in your approach with somebody or something there. We've got the trailblazer energy, okay? And it says here, you're a trailblazer, meant to see things differently and set a new path for others. I mean, it was all over your reading, whoever I'm reading for there. Your rebellious spirit makes you a great system buster to teach others a better way. Again, and an old belief about money could be preventing you from getting ahead. Always good to like smash through any sort of limiting financial kind of thoughts there. I did say there's a change of mindset regarding your plans and your finances. You know, believe that you are worthy of more money. Sometimes, you know, especially older generations, they have fostered this energy that, you know, money is a negative entity, but actually, you know, money is a tool that helps build security, stability, of course, and it's often the person who has the money and what they do with it that, you know, can be positive or negative, okay? So I feel this is about breaking through any generational financial blockages there, because you're the person who is transcending that, and you're the person who's going to be super wealthy in your family lineage, okay? Now we've got the writer there. Now this doesn't have to be that you're all going out there writing a book or doing a course of learning. This could be like writing it down, creating a list. You've got so much on, write it down so that you don't forget anything or have to return to something that you feel like you've missed. Also, I would say document everything. If you are having a problem or you're fed up with something in the working environment, document it. Now, either you're going to HR with it, or it could be that you find a way to solve a problem in the industry that you work in. So, you know, if you work in a certain sector where everyone just realizes that actually there's always this glitch or there's always this problem, a lot of you could be inventing a way to work better, smarter, not harder. And, you know, you could be finding a way to problem solve in a working environment that you can copyright, patent, or, you know, create as your own, and that can help others in some way. But it says your words have power to influence others. Okay, that was a very large knock on my window. Now, you know, I am two levels up, right? So nothing can be like knocking on the window. It's not my guides, so I'm not sure what that was. My guides are here with me, so it was, I feel, just confirmation, perhaps sent, that you have a very powerful voice and you can influence people So that is something that perhaps you are utilizing your voice, or maybe you are building a healthier kind of discourse, being more diplomatic in the working environment to get your needs met in the working environment. We've also got, I'm just going to read it again because that did distract me there. Your words have power to influence others. Find out how you can contribute. Always be in service. I feel that sentence kind of gets misunderstood sometimes. To be in service can mean that whatever you do benefits others in some way. There's always a chain of what you do, okay? So, when you open up to the universe and you are in service to help others in some shape or form, the universe, I kid you not, bestows so much abundance upon you, okay? So there is a law of attraction, but also a law of reward where, your good deeds and your need to be in service does not go unnoticed, and those rewards will come to you. But we've also got a career in social media management. I mean, yeah, definitely. Book writing, content writing, or blogging could be for you. Use words and visualize what you want. Write it down to manifest more money into your life. Yes, thoughts become things. That's why there's a change of mindset here. And I definitely see that you're leaning in more to your sense of purpose. Okay, I'm actually seeing a pie chart here. Is there a pie chart on there? Nope. I'm seeing a pie chart, so that's like portioning up your time or portioning up your money. It says, you will have new ideas and inspirations. Yes, Ace of Swords is all about ideas, and that will guide you to your divine calling. What is meant for you will not leave you. I always say it will never pass you by. It never will. I'm telling you that right now. As long as you continue to push forward, ask for what you need, and the things will align for you to carry out your vision. And the universe is like making that happen for you because you're believing in yourself, believe in your ideas, believe in what you have to say, and have more confidence in yourself because there's other people out there doing what you want to do. And if they can do it, you certainly can do it too. And I definitely see here that you're a pro. There's a lot of people who may be even in the positions that you feel like you want right now. And, they're not as qualified as you to be there, or they don't have the knowledge that you have. You're unique. Remember that. So we've also got creative work. And it says here, use your inspiration to find ways to make more money. Express your genius. There's a lot of mind going on here, a lot of ideas, a lot of thoughts, rumination, working things out. And we've also got many talents, yes, doing other things that complement what you do already. It says here, you have a lot of skills to discover and use for good. Don't sell yourself short. You started with the card of value, reciprocity, so I know that you will make sure that you remain on course and that you do not undervalue your skill set, okay? So let's go and get a trinket or rune before we close. Okay, so we have, oh wow. So we got the Tree of Life there. So this is about, expansion. Planting roots, but expanding on where you feel like you need to be right now. This is also kind of hangman territory with this trinket because the hangman puts themselves on the Tree of Life in order to be more inspired, to see things from a new perspective, to surrender to a process, but also to be illuminated, to, seek guidance and knowledge. And I feel this is a period of knowledge for you to soak up all that information and then work out what you need to do with it and then take the next steps on your blueprint, on your plan, because it's going to work. That's what I see there. Okay. So I'll leave it there. I hope something resonates, my beautiful Librans. Thank you so much and love and light.